Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnuvad Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Sto Saraswati Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swāmī Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai Navadip Tham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhāgavatam 4.8.3. Tayo Sambhaval Lobho Samabhaval Lobho Nikritis Cha Mahamate Tabhyam Krodhas Cha Hingsa Cha Yad Durukti Swasa Kalihi Tayo Samabhaval Lobho Nikritischa Mahamate Tabhyam Krodhascha Hingsacha Yad Durukti Swasa Kalihi. Ladies? Any? Tayoho, those two, Samabhavat, were born, Lobhaha, greed, Nikritihi, cunning, Cha, and Mahamate, O great soul, Tabhyam, from both of them, Krodhaha, anger, Cha, and Hingsa, envy, Cha, and Yat, from both of whom, Duruktihi, harsh speech, Svasa, sister, Kalihi, Kali. Maitreya told Vidura, O great soul, from Dambha and Maya were born greed and Nikriti, or cunning. From their combination came children named Krodha, anger, and Hingsa, envy. And from their combination were born Kali and his sister Durukti, harsh speech. Duruktau Kalir Adatta Bhayam Rityum Chusattama Tayoscha Mitunam Jagye Yatana Nirayastata. O greatest of all good men, by the combination of Kali and harsh speech were born children named Mrityu, death, and Bhiti, fear. From the combination of Mrityu and Bhiti came children named Yatana, excessive pain, and Niraya, hell. Sangrahena mayakyata prati sargastavanaka tri shrutvaitad puman punyam vidhu nojatmano malam. My dear Vidura, I have summarily explained the causes of devastation. One who hears this description 3 times attains piety and washes the sinful contamination from his soul. Purport. The creation takes place on the basis of goodness, but devastation takes place because of irreligion. That is the way of material creation and devastation. Here it is stated that the cause of devastation is adharma, or irreligion. The descendants of irreligion and falsity, born one after another, are bluffing, cheating, greed, cunning, anger, envy, quarrel, harsh speech, death, fear, severe pain, and hell. All these descendants are described as signs of devastation. If a person is pious and hears about these causes of devastation, he will feel hatred for all these, and that will cause his advancement in a life of piety. Piety refers to the process of cleansing the heart. As recommended by Lord Chaitanya, one has to cleanse the dust from the mirror of the mind. And then advancement on the path of liberation begins. Here also the same process is recommended. Malam means contamination. We should learn to despise all the causes of devastation, beginning from irreligion and cheating. And then we shall be able to make advancement in a life of piety. The possibility of our attaining Krishna consciousness will be easier, and we shall not be subjected to repeated devastation. The present life is repeated birth and death, but if we seek the path of liberation, we may be saved from repeated suffering. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Kyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kodamahyam Tadhati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamanang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raganathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prashabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vansha Kolpitarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tayo samabhavalobho nikritistra mahamate tabyam krotastra himsacha yadurukti swasakali. Well, these are all descendants of adharma, irreligion. Where irreligion is present, then we'll find these characteristics, anger, envy, quarrel, durukti. Durukti means harsh speech, or the translation for Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary says profanity. There's in low-class circles, every second word is an expletive, as they say. One of those words that gets deleted in transcription. This is not the language of gentlemen. It's the language of people contaminated by passion and ignorance. And harsh speech, which has now been digitized and automated and platformed so that we get social media as a playground for durukti, harsh speech, as well as quarrel and envy and all the rest of it. I don't know if any of you techies, if you can devise a platform where to join the platform you have to be in the mode of goodness and stay there. Now that would be a contribution. Durukto kalir adatta bhayam mrityum jasattama teoschu cha mitunam jagye yatana nirayastata. It gets worse. We go down to their descendants, death, fear, excessive pain, and hell. Later, when we come to the narration of King Vena, we'll find that he was the daughter of death personified, who's mentioned here. He was the son, rather. The son of the daughter of death personified. So Mrityu is here. The Acharyas point that out. So all of these elements are unfavorable for devotional service. Pratikul yasya varjanam. Anukul yasya sankalpa, pratikul yasya varjanam. Sarva vidhi nishedhasyu etayor eva kinkara. The direction is that whatever is favorable for devotional service, we should accept. We're always accepting something, rejecting something. Some line of action we accept, some line of action we reject. Some association we accept, some we reject. Some food we accept, some we reject. So what should be the criteria? Main criteria is anukul yasya sankalpa. Whatever will help us advance in Krishna consciousness, that's anukul, let's accept that. And what's pratikul, unfavorable, varjana, let us reject that. Sarva vidhi nishedasyu. In the Shastras, there are two kinds of injunctions, vidhi and nished. Vidhi means the rules that we should follow. We should do this, we should do this, we should do this, we should do this. Get up early in the morning, offer Mangal Arti, chant Hare Krishna, chant on the beads, take bath, of course. So these are all vidhi, things that we should do according to the rules and regulations. And nished means forbidden. No gambling, no intoxicants, no meat eating, no illicit sex, sub nished. These are all forbidden activities. Why? Because pratikul, unfavorable. If they were favorable, we'd say, yes, little meat is good for you. But no, very unfavorable. Most unfavorable because sinful. Dutam pan, what is that? Dutam panam striyam sunam yatra dharma chaturvidha. In the first canto it said, wherever these four things are present, gambling, meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, that's where adharma will be. These are all irreligious principles, or irreligious means sinful. These are all sinful activities. And sinful activities should be avoided. What is that? Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandvamoha nirmukta bhajante mam Jayādvaita. Who can engage in Krishna consciousness with determination? Yesham tu antagatam papam. Those who come to the end, put an end to sinful activities. Given up sinful activities. These are the four main sinful activities, or Prabhupada said the pillars of sinful life. When you pull down the pillars of a building, the building collapses. So if we can free ourselves from these four pillars of sinful life, then the rest of sinful life will also disappear. So, antagatam and jananam punya karmanam. One should be engaged in favorable activities, pious activities. The best punya is devotional service. Then te dvandva moha nirmukta. One will be freed from duality, free from illusion, or from the illusion of duality, seeing everything separate from Krishna. And bhajante mam Jayādvaita. Then one can engage in devotional service, bhajan, with firm determination. So these irreligious activities are pratikul, sarva vidhi nishedasyu, eteyor eva kinkara. Always accept what's favorable for devotional service, always reject what's unfavorable. All the positive and negative injunctions, all the vidhis and nisheds, are just servants of these two principles. There's so many do this, do this, do this, and so many don'ts. But they're all meant to support basically two rules. Whatever's favorable, accept, and whatever's unfavorable, reject. Actually, what is that? Smartavyam satatam Vishnu vismartavyam najatuchet. All the other rules and regulations, that's what's favorable. Anukul yasya sankalpa pratikul yasya bharjana. Accepting what's favorable for remembering Krishna and rejecting what's unfavorable for remembering Krishna. So smartavyam satatam Vishnu vismartavyam najatuchet. One should always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Everything else is meant to support these two principles. This is the main vidhi, always think of Krishna, and the main nished is never forget Krishna. Sangrahina maya kyata pratisarga stavanaga. Sarga means creation. Brahma creates everything, the universe, for the benefit of the living beings and the service of the Lord. And pratisarga means the opposite of sarga, so destruction. Pratisarga. Devastation, Prabhupada gives. So these are principles of devastation. If we adopt these principles, our Krishna consciousness will be finished. So we should hear about them. Someone says, no, we just want to hear about Krishna Lila, Krishna Nam, Krishna's gunas, Krishna's associates. We don't want to hear about all this junk, envy and falsity and cunning and quarrel. Why do we want to hear about that? We're on the path of transcendence. We only want to hear about Krishna, not about this Maya and all this nonsense. No. Here it's indicated By hearing this, one attains punya. By hearing about all these impious activities. Now that doesn't mean we'll go to the internet and find some narration of the details of impious activities, and this will, by reading this, will increase our Krishna consciousness. But when we hear about these topics from Srimad Bhāgavatam, from Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, Bhagavad Gita is practically all about sinful activities, the activities of the demons. But by hearing these activities, the heart becomes purified. What is that? Vidhunoti malam, atmano malam. All the dirt gets cleaned away by hearing properly from the authorities about negative things, about sinful things. If we hear from the sinful people, just like if we hear about Krishna from devotees, we'll become devotees. If we hear about sinful life from the non-devotees, we'll become sinful also. They're preachers of sinful life. If we give submissive oral reception to their message, then we'll also become sinful. And therefore, the modern system of education, to hear from sinful people endorsing sinful activities, or at least recommend, we should be non-judgmental. We should be accepting. No. We must be we must be judgmental. This is sinful, this is ignorant, this is destructive. Are we supposed to be such fools that we accept everything rubbish as being equally good as that which is pure? It's just rubbish. Rubbish is rubbish, and it should be known as rubbish. So we shouldn't hear about sinful activities from sinful people, but when we hear about sinful activities from Srimad Bhāgavatam, that's uplifting. That's uplifting. From Bhagavad Gita, from Srimad Bhāgavatam, even the Bible say this is sinful. There's tales there of sinful things. But why is it there? So that you'll avoid it. Not that we can't mention these things. We must mention. Just like we give some direction that at the fork of the road turn right. So we said there's a little, what is that? Curve in between. Don't take that. Just keep going to the right. So the directions become clarified, both positively and negatively. This is right, this isn't right. This is pious, this is sinful. Not only this is pious, this is good. The two should be distinguished. What is that? Matter and spirit. Piety and impiety. Not that this is duality, we should avoid it. No, we should hear from authorities about these things. And then, vidhunoti suritsata. This is also Krishna Katha. The clouds are also produced from the sun. So, in that context, cloud Katha is also sun Katha. But again, it's not that therefore we're going to dive into the clouds, because there's no difference between the clouds and the sun. We need to know enough about the cloud to know that it's related to the sun, but it's not the same as the sunshine. When we study fire, we have to know that there's flames, there's smoke, but not that we become such fools that, well, smoke is also fire, so we'll cook on the smoke. The science of fire means you have to know about the smoke also, but you have to know that we don't cook in the smoke. It's the flames. So, Shrutva etat pumam punyam, one becomes pious by hearing these topics, Anagha. He's speaking to Vidura, who's Anagha, free from all sins. Not that you're free from all sins and I don't want you to get polluted, so I'm not going to talk about any of these things. No. Because you're sinless, you can hear these things and not be affected. Or hearing these things will help you stay sinless. We know these things are sinful, but if we hear about them from time to time, then it reinforces our understanding. Yes, these things are sinful. Everybody's saying, no, they're good. And sometimes we may become doubtful. Yeah, what's the difference? A man loves a woman, a man loves a man. Sex is sex, after all. It doesn't really matter. Everyone has their own choice. There's no difference. Everybody's going, yeah. So then from time to time we hear in Srimad Bhāgavatam, no, this is sinful. Not that it's just another, everyone has their own mode, or their own, their lifestyle. It's all equally acceptable. We shouldn't be judgmental. It's all idiocy. Bhagavatam distinguishes between what's pious and what's impious, for the benefit of all. What is that in the beginning? Bhagavatam. Discriminates between what is truth and what is illusion for the benefit of all. So these things, Chaito Darpana Marta, this also purifies the heart. Hearing about Krishna directly purifies the heart, and hearing these topics also from the right source purifies the heart. And therefore we shouldn't avoid it. That no, I only hear about Ras Lila, I only hear about Braj Lila. I don't even want to hear about Vaikuntha, because then I might lean toward Vaikuntha, and that would be very bad. And what to speak of hearing about falsity and cunning and quarrel and harsh speech? No, I don't want to hear about these topics. I want to hear about the essence, the 10th canto and Rasa Panchoja. No, we should hear about these topics also. Otherwise, there's only 7 days left. Why should Shukadeva Goswami waste time speaking about these nasty topics to Parikshit Maharaj? No. Vidhunoti malam. They'll purify the heart. When the heart is pure, then we can understand these Brajkatha. What is that? Vishya Choriya Kobe Shuddha Habe Man. Narottam Das Thakur. That when will my heart be free from the desire for sense gratification? Vishya. Vishya Choriya. When will I give up? Not when will I become free? I'll become free when I let go of it, but I'm holding on to it as if it were valuable. Vishya Choriya Kobe. When will I give up this spirit of trying to enjoy the material world? Shuddha Habiman. Then my mind will become Shuddha, pure. Then I'll be able to understand Vrindavan. Not that I'll keep my consciousness in the gutter and I'll hear about Radha and Krishna, and that will do everything. We're meant to hear about Radha and Krishna, but there's a system. And here's the system: to patiently hear Bhagavatam, verse by verse, not skipping. Prabhupada said a pure devotee doesn't skip even a drop of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami is the most elevated soul, but he's not skipping. No, I don't want to talk about this. It'll disturb my bhajan. No. He's discussing. Why? Because it's beneficial. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments? Yes. Anyway, it'll just make things worse for me. If you just speak loud, that'll be better.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, I had a question about this conception of good and bad.
You had a question about the perception of good and bad.
Yeah, so you were mentioning that now it's kind of taboo to say one thing is good, one thing is bad. And I was thinking that we always glorify the Uttamādhikari because he, whatever association is, he's above kind of seeing good things and bad. And I'm reminded of a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita where
Dvaite Bhajra Bhajra Gyan, E Manodharma, E Balo E Manda, E Sabbrahma.
Sabbrahma. So I'm trying to understand, how do we reconcile the Uttamādhikari's platform and he can see what's good and bad with basic...
you can't reconcile it. You can't reconcile the Uttamādhikari platform and the Kanishtādhikari or non-adhikari platform. They're not the same platform. They're perceptions of the same world, but from different platforms. If you're in the Uttamādhikari platform, you can't preach, therefore it's irreconcilable. You can't be on the Uttamādhikari platform and preach because everybody's the same. There's no good or bad, it's all that God's in his heaven, all's right with the world. Therefore, from the Madhyamadhikari platform, one can preach. So, the Uttamādhikari platform, there's no difference between the sinful person, pious person, everything's. Now, if you bring that down to the ordinary platform and preach that for the common person, yes, there's no difference. Then you're ruining everything. For the Uttamādhikari, there may be no difference. But for the ordinary person, if we give that advice, no, there's no good, there's no bad, everything's the mental concoction. There's a context. E balo e manda, e sabbrahma. It means this is good sense gratification, that's bad sense gratification. That's what's manodharma. Why? Because it's equally good? No, because it's equally bad. Oh, you're making a distinction, this is good, this is bad. No, I think this is good, so why should you say it's bad? No, that's misunderstanding. There's no distinction, good or bad, because it's all bad. We don't make a distinction between your good rubbish and the bad rubbish. It's all rubbish. Into the can with all of it. That's the platform. Above those dualities, this is good sense enjoyment, that's bad sense enjoyment. No. This is good Maya, this is bad Maya. It's all Maya. It's all rubbish. On that platform. And still we can examine. This is particularly obnoxious. Still we can examine that. Why? Shastra is giving that. Yes?
Just one follow-up question.
Yes.
So on the platform of Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, is that the platform of the Uttamādhikari?
No. That's even the platform of the impersonalist. Even the person who has not yet come to Krishna consciousness, but understands aham brahmasmi, sarvakalavinam brahm, these things, he can see that this is soul. In the Upanishads, we find this understanding. Upanishads are not giving us much about devotional service. Even Kanishtādhikari bhakti is not given attention. But this is Brahma Gyan, spiritual realization. Brahma bhuta prasanatma nashochati nakankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Devotional service is the postgraduate platform. First thing is to come to the Brahmabhuta platform. I'm not this body, I'm spirit, soul. Nashochati, Nakankshati, I have nothing to hanker for, nothing to lament about, because I'm not this body. What does it matter to me? So, samasarveshu bhuteshu. I can see all circumstances equally, or I can see all living beings equally. Then, mad bhaktim labhate param. Then one becomes eligible for devotional service. So vidya vinaya sampanne, to see all living beings as spirit soul, that's preliminary. The devotees are, they're on the postdoc platform. They're not, trying to figure out whether the body is the self or not the self. They've long passed that territory. Yes. Hare Krishna.
I learned from a mentor of mine a while back.
Whoa,
And
we
he
have
was speaking
really
about-
bad acoustics, and I'm half deaf. So
Okay, I will speak louder.
that's fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me for the invite. I appreciate it. This was unexpected. I didn't realize that you all have a class Monday mornings. But there's a saying that the difference between a wise man and a fool is that the wise man can learn from the fool. But I
Nice.
also want to get your thoughts on,
So that's the basis of this class. All the wise devotees here are learning something from the fool. But yes, go ahead.
the concept and idea of whether or not piety will guarantee enlightenment. What are your
The
thoughts?
concept of whether whether pious activities will guarantee enlightenment. No. You can perform any amount of pious activities and still not become enlightened. It's like fertilizer. You can pile up all, generous supplies of the best fertilizer, but unless there's a seed, nothing is going to grow. The seed has to be there. So the fertilizer is good. It helps the seed grow. It's very favorable. But without a seed, there's nothing. Seed is the instructions of the pure devotee of Krishna, the spiritual master. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. The seed is the seed of devotional service, or Prabhupada sometimes says the plan of devotional service, the system of devotional service, the method of becoming Krishna conscious, the whole program of developing Krishna consciousness. Where does one get the seed for that? From the spiritual master, from the devotee. Then it's described in Chaitanya, it becomes a flourishing plant with fruits and flowers and everything. It's all there, but it's in the seed. So the pious activities help us very much. It's hard to grow a seed in sterile ground. Scorched earth is not a very good place for seeds. So it's hard for a person whose activities are all impious to come to the platform of devotional service to the personality of Godhead. But by the grace of the devotee or by the association of devotees, that person can be engaged in pious activities and ultimately come to the perfection. Thank you. Hare Krishna, good question.
We're talking about rag bhakti, and that Prabhupada said a pure devotee doesn't even want to miss a drop of Bhāgavatam or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, said Lord Chaitanya, when he was having Bhāgavatam class with Gadadhar Pandit, they were reading Dhruva Charita and Prahlad Charita. And so how is, it makes sense hearing directly about Radha and Krishna's Leelas that is Rag Bhakti. Maybe you could explain how hearing these other things, someone on that level would take it in a positive way. Because
this is Krishna. Krishna is not limited, that he's only only in Vrindavan. Whatever happens in Vrindavan, that's Krishna. And whatever happens outside of Vrindavan, that's not Krishna. From one point of view, yes, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Everything outside Vrindavan is performed by Krishna's Vasudeva expansion. Vasudeva is also Krishna. Not that we start dissecting and severing off. No, you're not Krishna, you're not Krishna. The only thing that's there is Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, the only thing that's there is Krishna and the gopis. Between Krishna and the gopis, only Radharani and Krishna. No. Krishna's an integrated whole. His Leela of creating this material world is also Krishna Leela. His Leela as Nrsingadev, his Leela as Kurma, Matsya, that's also Krishna Leela. And if we refuse to hear his Kurukshetra Leela, that's also Krishna Leela. No, I only hear Braj Leela, not Kurukshetra Leela. No. And who am I that I reject everything else. I only hear Krishna. You're full of yourself. Get off it. Such pride. No, I don't sully myself with anything other than Radha Krishna Leela. No, that's all. This is the business of the Sahajiyas, the cheap devotees. They think they don't need to hear anything else because they're so qualified. And they're so qualified, they wind up in bed with some yogini. Mahajanayena Gatasapanta. We should follow in the footsteps of the pure devotees who are the authorities on Srimad Bhāgavatam and not invent something. No, I only hear about Krishna in Vrindavan. I only hear about Krishna and the gopis. The devotees take pleasure in hearing everything about Krishna. When we hear about Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes against the background of all the other pastimes, then we can understand how wonderful are these. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has all of these glorious characteristics, is playing in Vrindavan like a cowherd boy. Then we'll appreciate. Otherwise we'll think, yes, he's something like me. I also have friends. I also have girlfriends. I also have... No. We can't skip over. You skip over a couple, like missing lessons. You're taking some course and you miss 3 lessons, and then you come back and you're lost. And you put it together in your head and say, well, it must have been this and this and this, but you haven't gotten it. So there's crucial lessons throughout. And Prabhupada said one who's patiently gone through the 9 cantos can capture the effect of the 10th canto. He'll get it, in other words. And others won't. All right. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.